So, one definition of music is the organization of vibrations and silences. But every sound has a vibration. In fact, according to string theory, everything is made up of vibrations. You, me, what you're watching, the laptop, the phone you're watching this from, everything is made up of vibrations. Technically, it's all molecules vibrating at a certain rate and frequency. So, if everything is potentially music, then nothing is music. There's no comparison of something that is music versus something that isn't music, because everything's made up of vibrations or silences. Hey, welcome to the MCs, Music at the Core of Everything. I'm your host, Bryant Larson, and today we're asking the question, does music even really exist? Okay, so what if I told you what you just heard doesn't actually exist? Now, me playing the sax physically did just happen. The vibration definitely existed, but what you heard was just your brain's best interpretation and approximation of something that actually existed at some point in the past, at least from where you're sitting. Okay, check this out. If I got a cotton string and tightened it to just the right tension and flicked it a certain way, it would make the same vibration as that piano would, playing those same exact notes. It's the same vibration, but the way that your mind would perceive it would be totally different. By the time that vibration happens, the physical qualities of the cotton itself would rob that string from vibrating and you being able to hear it. It would make the same exact vibration, but either you wouldn't hear it or it would be as indistinguishable as me flicking a pillow. You would be wrong if you said that it didn't make the same note. Actually, it did. You just interpreted it incorrectly. Or maybe the sound wave didn't travel to you far enough or to you distinctly enough for you to be able to hear that note, but maybe it did close up or in a split second, or even just in my immediate environment. So was that still music? According to our definition, yeah, it's still music. It's a vibration and it's organized in terms of when it's vibrating and silence. But I think that definition is probably not the best, right? Because then if we use that definition, me talking to you right now is just as much music as this is. And if you're honest, you know that it's not the same, right? This is not music. What you heard before was music. Just keeping it real. My mouth is making vibrations. But it's not making music. I'm communicating via spoken word, but when I was playing the sax, I was communicating via music. And just like spoken word has many languages born from the culture of the people that speak them, so also does music.
Music is born out of a culture. Music is practice. Music comes out of cultural influences and time periods, what people are wearing and what they're eating during the day. What we call music in the Western world doesn't even use the same notes as music from the East. There's places like India, Pakistan, and many other Eastern Asian traditions that use different scales, notes, and positions for their tuning and music than we do in the West. For example, the Gurkhan has 13 positions in its music. Our keyboard, our westernized piano, our well-tempered clavier only has 12 notes.
There are songs that our instruments literally can't even play, and vice versa. Music is as relative as time, and therefore as indistinguishable as real from false, like time is for let's say a molecule traveling through the universe at the rate of light speed versus how 10 minutes might feel when you're starving, haven't eaten yet, been a long day, and for some reason the light you're sitting at in traffic hasn't turned green and it seems like everybody else has gone twice and you're just sitting there like, what the heck, bro? Man, time definitely exists, but how you feel time is not real. It's your mind's best approximation of what's real. Vibrations also definitely exist, but music is once again completely in your brain and your interpretation of that vibration happening. Music as a construct and an invention doesn't exist anywhere other than in your own mind. Except for one teensy-weensy little thing. This is sheet music, and it quite obviously exists. You can't hear it, but here it is. Let's go back to this whole spoken word thing. Okay, and by the way,
can you imagine the hubris of someone calling their performance art the spoken word? That's like me naming my rock and roll concert the ability for humans to make sound throughout history. I mean, no, it's a rock and roll concert. Book readings aren't called the written word, right? You can't use a term that is literally used to symbolize the backbone, the anchor of what defines human civilization throughout all known time to describe your performance art, right? I mean, come on, man.
The spoken word, just like music, has existed for the exact moment that it was presented to you. It's just that one day, perhaps, somebody decided to write it all down and document its proof or its existence. Right now, we have ancient languages that exist simply because we have a record of it, and there are many that don't because there is no record. Documentation of existence proves existence. A clock doesn't document anything real in time, but math does. Einstein's theory of relativity and other groundbreaking equations finally began to give us documented proof of time as a state of existence, something that we could measure and test, something that was affected by weak, strong, and constant forces in gravity. Likewise, after the understanding of A440 frequency and the invention of the system of writing music, still used today, and even some still more ancient, is proof of its existence.
Also consider this. Loud music or intentionally dissonant music can cause physical harm. The physical existence of music through repeatable, predictable, and measurable observations? Well, that is actually, by definition, being proven in a scientific way. It is irrefutable proof. So we can prove that there's measurable effects of music to the body, like going to a really loud concert and your ears ringing for hours immediately afterwards.
But are there measurable effects of music on the mind, psychological well-being, the heart? If you look up the late Jeremy Montague, 1927 to 2020, he was the president of the Galpin Society, author of innumerable books and articles on musical instruments and their origins, their purposes. He says this in this scientific journal called Frontiers in Sociology. There are many possible functions for music. One is dancing. It is unknown if the first dancers created a musical accompaniment or if music led people to moving rhythmically. Another obvious reason for music is entertainment, which can be personal or communal. Music can also be used for communication, often over large distances using instruments such as drums or horns. Yet, another reason for music is ritual, and virtually every religion on planet Earth uses music. However, the major reason that music arose and persists may just be that it brings people together. All right, let's go back to this. So this is a tree that's been cut down, turned into a pulp, flattened out, dried up, and printed on. That's what it is, but that's not what it does. What it does is it communicates the language of music, and what it does is just as real as what it is. So what do we call this? Do we call it a piece of paper? Or do we call it a piece of music? Do we define a thing by what it is or by what it does? I don't know, but do you? Go ahead and leave the answer in the comment section below. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more talks and communication and content from the MCs. Music at the core of everything. Hope you enjoyed this video today. I'm your host, Bryant Larson, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.